Introduction. The biblical references to dogs and their spiritual symbolism provide profound insights into the various traits associated with this creature. Understanding the dog's spirit goes beyond the literal animal, it delves into the spiritual implications that impact individuals and even communities and generations. The effects of the spirit is enormous and domineering. 1. Dogs are symbol of uncleanliness, Matt 7-6. The symbolic representation of dogs as unclean creatures emphasizes their spiritual impurity. In biblical context, associating with unclean spirits or individuals leads to contamination. They are fornicators, adulators, whoremongers and so on. They don't have one partner, and by their quest for sexual orientation they can travel for miles for the purpose of that alone, not mindful of anything that may befall them. Individuals with such spirit don't care whom they sleep with, where or what. They can be married but cannot keep the covenant of marriage. 2. Dogs are devourers, Phil 3-2, Jared 15-3. The image of dogs as devourers and tearing creatures, signifies their destructive nature. This spiritual trait suggests a propensity to cause harm, especially to the vulnerable. They can cause you harm as long as you are not their clan. They can attack you without considering anything as long as you are part of them. 3. Dogs are outside the gate, Rev 22:15. Being outside the gate in biblical terms implies exclusion from heavenly kingdom. Dogs, in this context, represent entities or individuals who are not part of God's divine plan and eternal dwelling. Heaven is never their focus and hence lived outside the gate. No matter how you try to keep them inside the gate, they desire outside and can do anything to get out. They are not mindful where they go, the company they keep, food they eat. They are a candidate for the Broadway. 4. Witches are dogs, Peace 59-6, 14. The association of dogs with witches reinforces the negative connotations attached to this creature. It symbolizes spiritual forces aligned against the divine purpose. They roam throughout the night if allowed, signifying the activity of the witchcraft. They sleep not unless they have caused evil. 5. Backsliders are dogs, Prov 26:11, 2 Pet 2:22. The spiritual designation of backsliders as dogs implies a departure from the path of righteousness. It highlights a state of spiritual regression and waywardness. They go back to the vomit, the same thing that harmed them, and they let go of it. Within a short time, they can still eat it again, forgotten it once hurt them. The same sin they confess not to go back, within months they'll go back again. No discipline, no principles, can easily give up. 6. Dogs eat whatever they find, Exo 22:31, 1 Kis 14:11, 16-4. The voracious appetite of dogs for anything they find parallels the spiritual trait of accepting and indulging in anything, regardless of its moral or spiritual implications. You can't tell whether they are Christian or not, sing any song, read anything, wears anything, attend any meeting without checking the spiritual significance. 7. Dogs never have enough, they are very greedy, Isa 56:11. The insatiable greed attributed to dogs draws a parallel with individuals who are spiritually voracious, seeking fulfillment in material and worldly pursuits without satisfaction. They are ready to go any length as long as they get satisfaction, whilst the scriptures warn beware of covetousness. Luke 12:15, Call 3-5, F 5-3. 8. Dogs' food is cast to them, Matt 15:26. The idea that dogs receive the remnants of food signifies a lower spiritual status. This spiritual portrayal suggests a state of spiritual deprivation. 9. Dogs eat the crumbs. The symbolic act of dogs eating crumbs implies a willingness to accept even the smallest spiritual nourishment. However, it can also suggest a lack of discernment or a settling for less than God's abundant provision. 10. Dogs make unnecessary noise. The tendency of dogs to make unnecessary noise parallels individuals who create disturbances in spiritual settings, distracting others from the divine message. They boast and brag about everything. 11. Dogs like bones, bones are their target and desire. The focus on bones as the target and desire of dogs represents a fixation on the remnants, suggesting a spiritual condition that settles for the superficial rather than the profound. Likewise, the target's bones denote their willingness to destroy structure. When spirit of dog enters into an organization, In no time the structures would be gone, they target leaders and pillars. 12. Dogs are sexually immoral, HEB 12:15-17. The comparison of dogs to Esau, known for his lack of self-control and sensual desires, highlights a parallel with individuals who succumb to sexual immorality. Give to fleshly desires and disregards or trivializes divine principles and spiritual matters. 13. Dogs are fighters. The fighting nature of dogs symbolizes a spiritual disposition that engages in conflicts and opposition, hindering unity and harmony. 14. Dogs are runners. The tendency of dogs to roam freely signifies a lack of spiritual restraint. Individuals characterized by this trait may struggle with staying grounded in faith and continuity of the gospel. 15. Dogs are controlled by their feelings. The emotional and impulsive nature of dogs reflects individuals driven by feelings rather than guided by spiritual discernment and wisdom. 16. Dogs live by their nose. The reliance on their sense of smell symbolizes a spiritual reliance on sensory perceptions rather than faith and trust in divine guidance. 17. Dogs are not ready to learn anything on their own. The reluctance to learn suggests a spiritual stagnation or resistance to growth, hindering individuals from advancing in their faith journey. 18. Dogs only accept those they know. The guarded nature of dogs, barking at anything new, mirrors individuals in spiritual communities who resist welcoming newcomers, hindering the growth of a welcoming and inclusive fellowship. Conclusion: in exploring the dog spirit's spiritual symbolism, it becomes evident that these characteristics extend beyond the literal animal. Individuals exhibiting these traits may find it enlightening to reflect on their spiritual journey and consider avenues for growth, transformation, and alignment with God's divine purpose.